You're listening to She Means Business, a podcast of 4 women realtors, each with unique business models, who came together to establish a supportive community. We are here to offer valuable resources and break down barriers that we face within the industry.
So today we're going to start out with the things you should not be doing with your listings.
Number 1.
Don't take iPhone photos.
I think that's everyone's number one.
Everyone's pet peeve.
It's still happening.
Still happening.
$1
million listings, I see it, and it just blows my mind.
Even if I was getting paid $500, which I don't, I still would be doing professional
Spending that
photography.
money.
Yep.
It's like $200 for the basic photos. You know,
$150 like $1,000 condo listing. It costs you $200 to take professional photos, and you will gain your seller more money.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yeah, and they say that 98% of the showings first are online. Yep. You know, so there you go. There's a bunch of your business going to go out the window if you do not get professional photos.
Yep. Speak up to your sellers too. It's like, I know that it's a hard conversation to have, but if you have like purple and yellow walls when you walk in, I mean, if you're a diehard Vikings fan, that's good for you, but probably not good for another buyer potentially. Yes. So paint everything neutral.
Yep.
And I know that it's kind of an expense, but at the same time, it will gain you way more money.
I was at a listing yesterday actually, and I kind of even offered them, I'm like, hey, I do want you to paint the neutral color in your home. You do not have to use the most expensive paint though. Or you can find coupons, you know. So you could do, instead of doing Sherwin-Williams, which I always recommend, you could do, you know, maybe a Valspar, you know, save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So that's something you can say too. The next thing I'm going to touch about is that I always have my sellers write a couple different sentences and send them to me of what they love most about their home.
Oh yeah, or about their neighborhood
or
too.
their neighborhood.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of like,
yes.
especially if it's
They
like
know
a
it
relocation
best.
buyer, they might not be familiar with the area.
Or even like their favorite trees, the mature trees in their yard if they've been there forever, you know, where I plant. So, and then sometimes I'll take it and put into Chat GPT, AI, and then I'll say, make this more professional, their sentences, and then it will come up with something that is great for my listing description. So that's what I do for that. Do you guys do anything with that?
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like that's been my lifesaver, like especially for listings, because you literally just plug it in. Okay, here's all the bullet points of everything I love about this house. Please write me up a listing description, and bam, it sounds so good.
Yes.
Yep.
And it takes you 5 seconds instead of just stressing about it for hours and hours and hours.
Yes.
My first few listings, I was just like stressing. Does this sound okay? Does it sound professional enough? Am I getting every point across about all the highlights of the home? And now it's just a no-brainer.
Yep.
Another thing I do too, sometimes I'll take that description that I wrote or Chat GPT and I'll send it, hey, is there anything I missed? Or is there anything you want me to touch
that's a good
on?
idea.
Yeah, because
I've actually never done that.
Yeah, well, sometimes
I just let them wait and see it when it goes online. I should probably run it by them.
I feel like everyone will write me back if I forget to like send it to them, and they'll be like, oh wait, can you add this too? Especially if they did like updates or they got a new dishwasher and they forgot to tell you about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I always highlight the new things in the house too, especially on the agent notes, and then I reiterate the most important ones in the buyer notes. So
That's super good.
Yeah. Always.
When I run like the CMA, like I present it to them, I'll usually say like, hey, here are the houses in your neighborhood. Like, you tell me like what makes yours better.
Yes.
Like when we're going through pricing and stuff, and like I'll take note of those things. Like, what do you guys think makes yours better than this house down the street that's for sale? Because like we're going up against them.
How are you standing out?
That it makes you think too that they think this is the most important part. So I want to make sure I highlight that.
Right. For sure.
Okay. Another thing that we want to be doing is offering staging of some sort. So Ashley, what do you do in that instance?
Yeah, so I feel like mine is a little unique too because I stage my new construction models. So I actually have a ton of furniture, like a whole house, a couple houses worth of furniture. So on my listings, if I have a model that like I'm okay with stealing some stuff from for a couple weeks and I know it's going to be a quick turnaround anyways, I'll just go and pull stuff from my model and bring it to my listing. And especially when the market's hot and they only need it for 2 weeks really, like for the open houses and the couple weekends of showings. And I'll have like my dad like bring his trailer sometimes. I'm like, I really need that dining room table. And we've like brought the whole table over. And like it made such a difference because there was nothing there. And it made this space feel awkward and empty. And it's like, okay, now I just did that extra little bit of work. And now it's just like you can actually envision yourself in the home. And especially like kitchen, master bedroom, master bathroom. It's like those are what sell a house. So it's like I'm not going to sit and like stage every single bedroom per se.
Well, don't they say kitchen's the heart of the home?
Yeah,
and I
so
feel
it's
like that's almost what everybody's looking at now.
Stand out. Yeah. So like even bringing a couple stools in. I've done that, even like kitchen stools, and like it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
It's
Cute
like,
little plants set on the counter, nice like hand towels. You know, I mean
every
something.
time.
What are your staple items that you try to bring to every home?
Ooh.
Fake plants, white
towels,
pillows.
Yep, throw pillows. Yep, those three.
That is awesome.
Especially the towels. I feel like that always just like helps brighten any bathroom because I feel like that's kind of where the translation gets lost a little bit, at least for like some of my sellers. They just kind of, the bathroom's kind of the back burner, which I understand because it's kind of like,
they're like, oh, I cleaned it. I cleaned the toilet. I'm like, cool. Like the photo's not going to show that.
Yes.
Well, and then you have a lot of those frugal people who keep the same bath towels from 1970 and stuff. So it's nice to have fresh ones, and then they don't have to spend money. You're just using the same. You're using the same thing over and over. They're not spending money. It's a win-win, and it's a write-off.
It is a write-off. We have those write-offs.
Honestly, go to Home Goods, go to Target, just like stock up on those items that are like very generic and just like I can keep using these over and over.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing after this.
Have a couple of Rubbermaid totes and just bring them along. Yeah, it makes such a difference.
Another thing I like to do is I like to highlight the city that my listing is in. If there's something cool, like my last listing that went up, I went downtown of that city and I kind of did a shot of like a brewery and like the park and then like the water park nearby. So I like doing that. I think that's a good idea. Another thing is placing your step-in signs everywhere around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think will elevate it too, and people see you out there. There are some cities that don't like it as much, but the cities...
Sign calls are a big deal now, too, especially for lead gen.
Yes.
I mean,
I've gotten many of my clients, and like actually some of my clients that became really good friends were from sign calls.
Yeah,
like
really?
Yes, sign calls. So
one of my last listings, I had a sign call, and he was a relocation buyer. He was 2 hours away, and he ended up not getting the house that I was selling, but then I found him a house.
Right.
And so it was like a 2-for-1.
Yep.
And it was great because I still got to help him, like, and I kind of already knew his taste because he liked the home I was listing. So I already knew what he was looking for. So, but no, staging wise, I wanted to bring this up because sometimes you don't have to be like, okay, well, let's do staging. Let's offer $4 or $5,000. If they have furniture, just like give them advice on how to shift it and make the room feel more appropriate and bigger.
Do you do staging consults or do you do it yourself?
I usually do it myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the opposite of you. You guys do it both yourself, right?
Normally,
Ashley
I've hired it out a couple times because sometimes, like I've heard, like you don't want to offend them. It depends on the seller.
I haven't done that yet.
Like depends how comfortable I am with them, and a lot of them are like close friends and family, and I'm going to tell them the truth. But there are certain ones where I'm like, ooh, I feel like they're going to take it the wrong way. That all their stuff's super dated or just stuff I don't like.
Balances.
So I like hired an external source to come in.
Well, and I've told that like hire someone else to do the hard conversation so you can be the good guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've done that twice, I think. Otherwise, I do it myself. But
and I think it depends on the personality. I mean, we all have a good read on people. I feel like you have to as a realtor. But I feel like that kind of sets the tone in place. If you know that they can handle the constructive criticism of the things in their house, then approach it that way. Yes. But if not, it might be...
So, Ange, what do you do?
We always hire a stager that just comes in. It's $175, well worth
reasonable.
it. She has, sometimes I'll have that, I'll call her before she goes in and I go, hey, they have 3 dogs, you know, like, will you recommend putting the couple drops of essential oils in their HVAC filter to make the house smell, but tell them do not put the plugins, you know, in there. Or like, I'll say, hey, heads up, like there's this part in the carpet, but I just didn't have the heart to tell them. Could you tell them? Or I couldn't tell them to paint the room they just painted bright red last week that they need to paint that back to a neutral color. So that stager is awesome. Not only that, she also will write up a full document of what she went over with them.
Yeah.
She'll come back for a second visit if they need her to.
Nice.
And so you have these notes in your email to go back to what was I supposed to do in the bathroom again? And it's always there, you know.
Yeah.
And all that for $175, so worth it.
So do you cover that or do you have that?
I cover it. Okay. So in our listing,
staging consult is covered.
Staging consult, professional
but then
photos,
they
and
cover the
else.
staging costs. Yes.
Yeah. So like if it was like a vacant place, we always recommend that they stage, and especially the most important rooms. And you, like we said, you're always going to get those sellers that might not listen to you and might say no to it. because staging, like bringing in actual furniture that's not our own, can cost a couple $1,000s.
But then it's important just to have that conversation up front. Like, here's what I recommend. If we don't do all of these things that I recommend, your house may sit longer.
So when it is sitting, you can go back to that and be like, hey, so I know we're like 3 weeks on. Like, what were those couple things we were talking about?
Yes.
I think
now
staging
maybe it's
might really help
to paint that room.
Yes.
Paint that room, yes.
And
I think that
revisit.
us as realtors have a good, I don't know, we're good at playing the good guy, and I think that stagers almost have that knowledge and reputation of knowing that they're going to play the bad guy.
Yeah,
and they just have that specific personality, which is why, you know.
but they're like the trusted professionals.
100%.
So it's like,
but they have no problem going in there and being like, boom, 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 you got to paint that wall.
My stager literally is like, I do the things that are bad, Ange, for you, so that you don't have to do them. And so you can have a better relationship with your clients, and I'm the bad guy. I'm like, thank Lord, Lord, because they're almost all my family and friends too. So I'm like, I do not want to do that.
Their relationship with them is so different than ours. So.
It is. Another thing I like to do when I go sit down at the listing presentation, I like to kind of go through lists of just generic things I have, like how old is your oven, how old is your roof, how old is this, and this, and
do you do like a pre-seller's disclosures walkthrough almost?
Kind of, basically, yes. And then I leave them with the seller's disclosures because I obviously want them to fill that out on their own. They can ask me questions.
But it's kind of good to prep them a little bit too, of like what's on there, of like, hey, this might be information that is going to pertain to what we need to put on here. So let's talk about it now.
I do it the opposite, but I mean,
I always do it the opposite too. I've never done it that way, but that's really good, Angie.
I always do it. And then because I ask all the questions about the different things in their home, like their roof, their siding, and then it makes them go, oh yeah, I just did that 5 years ago. Oh, I'm highlighting that for sure because that's a big selling point.
Yeah.
And then not only that, like if they're like, hey, my basement flooded at this point, I'm like, okay, put in the seller's disclosure that your basement flooded, and this is how you fixed it, and then if it hasn't happened since, it hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
You know, so doing that whole thing, but that's another whole topic that we get to talk on another day. So, Hyper, you talked about walking neighborhoods.
Oh, yes. Especially with my most recent listing. So I have a current listing that's been on the market for about 9 days, and obviously we know market conditions have changed. You know, interest rates is just psychotic.
Yeah. Depending when you listen to this.
Really pray.
Hopefully they're better if you listen
hopefully they're better by the time you listen to
2025.
this. Right now, currently October 2023, they're terrible.
Yep.
And so what I did, obviously I do a coming soon every single time I do a listing because I want it to get on many people's radar as possible before it actually goes live. So it's like, hey, I really like this house, but I want to see this one before I make an offer.
Yep.
So I always do at least like a 5 to 7 day coming soon. And then I walk the neighborhood and kind of invite the neighbors in to like the open house because a lot of the times they might know friends and family who want to like live in that neighborhood. And I know that this neighborhood is pretty highly desired. And so that's why I was like, oh, maybe there are people that want to come in here and that might know people. And actually at my first open house, a majority of them were neighbors. And they're like, my friend's actually looking in this neighborhood.
Awesome.
So we're looking around, you know, and so it's good to like just invite everybody. But then another thing I did was I called the other agents because this has been a slower listing of mine. So I called all the agents within a 6-block radius. I asked them what their feedback's been, why their listing is still sitting, and it's just a slower time. And so you kind of have to get strategic. And so now we, as realtors, are all pulling together and doing a collaborative open house. So we're doing a neighborhood open house.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, come visit all 5 of these homes. And if you put your name in at all 5 homes, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a $100 Amazon gift card. So it's just getting more and more business, I guess, for all of us.
Yeah, more eyes on the property, and like you're doing such a better service.
You have to get more creative, especially at a time like this.
That's going above and beyond for a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So good job,
sure.
Thanks.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just, I mean, it's just a weird time because I've never had a listing sit this long, but every agent that I've talked to that has walked through, I mean, they're just, it's a neighborhood that are first-time home buyer homes, but a move-up buyer price point.
Yes.
And so that's also been a little bit trickier, and that's also been everybody else's feedback, too.
The $500,000.
Yes.
Is a hard price
and
point.
thankfully, you know, my seller isn't in any rush, and so, you know, it's just time.
But it's so good
is
doing
on
that
our
extra
side,
step.
but-
And like, I know we're going to have another episode about collaborating and
Yes.
just like
Yes.
going above and beyond, or like connecting with those other agents. Like there's
Yes.
so many agents that would just put it up online and be like, sorry guys, like I'll let you know when we have a showing, like
Yeah.
talk to you in a couple months.
I know.
Yeah.
And not even just agents. I mean, like lenders,
crazy.
inspectors. I
Yep.
mean, the importance of collaboration is huge, especially just with everybody in this industry, but especially other realtors.
Yep.
So, yes,
sure.
super important.
Yes.
So,
So our final question is, for who would you want to marry?
Oh,
Date.
this is what we're going to end with.
Yes, we're going to end with this. Who
ooh,
do you-
our fun little game.
Yeah,
Yes.
fun game.
Who do you want to marry, date, or kill?
Yep.
Wood cabinets, colored cabinets, or what was the other one? White cabinets.
White.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Piper,
that's-
you go first.
That's so easy.
What?
Okay.
Okay, I would kill colored cabinets. I feel like,
Yep.
I don't know, your mind changes too often. I would date white cabinets because I feel like they're here temporarily, but maybe not long term.
Yep.
Wood cabinets are just timeless for me. And even though in my own kitchen 2 years ago I renovated, I did white cabinets
Yep.
because I did it for resale value. I
Right.
literally didn't think I was gonna be there, and now it's like I'm married to my 2.3% interest rate, so it's
Yeah.
like I won't be
Sitting out
moving for
here.
a long time. So if I would have done it over again, knowing I would be staying there longer, I might have done more wood tones. But I'm still happy with my choice of the white cabinets. And then I did I actually did a colored island. But I'm already growing out of it, and that's why I feel like the marry, date, kill for
Yes.
the white colored and wood is so easy for me to answer.
I'm the same as you too. Is like if you talk to me on like what I really, really want right now, I love color cabinets. Like
Yeah.
I love shiitake color cabinets.
Yep.
And but if I was going to really pick this seriously, like I'm going to right now, I would marry wood also.
Yeah.
I would date white, which my whole kitchen is white except for my island too. It's wood.
But your island is wood.
It is wood.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
And then yes, kill paint because I agree with you. I change my mind way too often, especially real estate and trends, and the trends change way too fast.
And I do
Yep.
kind of like that, like, it's like a creamy sage green colored cabinet
I
with, like,
love
the gold
that.
hardware. I think that's so
Yeah.
pretty right now.
Yeah,
but I was
so
like,
trendy.
I'd be so bored of that in a couple, or I would just hate it in a couple
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Ben wouldn't let me. So
Yeah.
you, Ashley, what would you do?
Okay, so I was going to agree with you, but now that I think about it a little more, I think I would kill white because I would just never put it in my own house because it would just like be
Yeah.
so dirty and just like, I don't know, if you see everything. So
Yeah.
I'm like just not a huge fan of white. So I think we'll get rid of that. And colored, I would like scale it back to like neutral colors. Like I'm not trying to do blue or green, but like I love like a tan. Like those, yeah, those are coming
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Just a nice creamy painted.
Yes.
So a step past white, so
Yes.
they're not like
And
so
that's
dirty.
so popular now, and it gives
Yes.
that very,
Love
like,
it.
Tuscany
Especially with the
feel.
warm wood.
Cozy,
Yeah.
so cozy. So I would, definitely date the neutral colors and maybe a little more specific, and then marry wood because it is so timeless.
It
like
is.
it just is gonna be here forever.
And it's a good
I know.
construction
different. Like right
material.
now, it's like white oak though. It's like the wood. I'm like,
Yeah.
when will this be out of style?
Next year.
When are people going to like the dark?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's coming
Yeah.
back.
It
I
is.
saw
I
that.
know.
So is
Yes.
the warm end. Like I feel like everything's in style right now. Like I'm trying to stay
Yeah.
in front of the trends, but it's like everything's
so
in style.
many trends
Yeah.
right
And
now.
like
that
even
it's
with
hard to keep
jeans,
up.
it's like people have skinny jeans, and then you see the
flare jeans coming back.
Yeah, it's just everything.
However, high-rise jeans never go away, please.
No, especially for
Whoever had low-rise
Us
jeans,
30-year-olds.
you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
You're done.
no butt correction.
Oh my gosh. I think that's where we end.
Yeah, I know.
We want to express our gratitude to all of you who have supported us and continue to tune in. Without you, this podcast wouldn't be possible. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes coming your way. Until then, remember to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep listening to She Means Business.